Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well and ready to play a little bit. I know I always say that, or I don't know, sometimes I say that. I like playing with my yoga poses, right? I don't necessarily enjoy doing the same variation of a yoga pose every time I do it. So that's why I say play. And play is fun, and we don't do enough of it as adults. So today we're going to work into. See there, it's even the language. We're going to play into dancer's pose, which can be super fun, but very difficult if you're told to do it right away because it's a very strong balancing pose on one leg and it's a huge opening on the front body on the opposite side. So we'll get into the quadriceps a little bit, we'll get into the hip flexors, we'll get into the torso and the shoulders, and then hopefully we have enough time to do all of that so that we can get into the full dancer's pose at the end. We'll have a few opportunities to try it. I was about to ask you if that sounds good, but you can't answer me, so hopefully that's all right. Let's start lying down. And depending on how your body feels, you might need to get some wiggles out, or maybe you feel ready to be still right away. You could land on your back with your legs bent or straight. You could be in a big sort of sea star position. Wherever feels best on your body. And then once you've found a position where you feel like you can be still for a few moments, inhale through your nose. And then exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more just like that. And then continue breathing however feels best. Could be in and out through your nose or your mouth or both. And draw your focus to your breath. Notice how it feels. Notice maybe gentle rise and fall of your belly, your chest. Notice the sound of your breath. Maybe you notice other qualities of the breath, whether it's deep or shallow, smooth or choppy, moist or dry, warm or cool. You might not notice any of those things, and that is also fine. Last few breaths here. And then start to bring a little bit of movement back to your body. Whatever way feels best for you to wake up. Could be really small, it could be big, you might be yawning. And then interlace your hands and reach your hands away from you overhead. Reach your toes, your legs away from you. Maybe you point your toes and lift your lower back off the floor and then press it down. Maybe you flex the toes back toward you. And then bend your knees and draw them in toward your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. And then you might even start to rock and roll up and down your spine here if that feels good. Shoulder blades to sit bones, to shoulder blades to sit bones. By all means, if that doesn't feel good, then maybe roll to one side, press yourself up, and we'll meet on hands and knees. So here, take a little wiggle, or cat and cow. Just move how you need to move. What is cat and cow, you might ask? Well, on your inhale, lift your tailbone to the sky, drop the belly, wrap the shoulder blades toward each other, kind of like you're mooing. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone under, round through your spine, big sort of scared Halloween cat. And then inhale again into cow, and then exhale round into cat. If there's other movement here that would feel better, that would feel like a nice way to add on, feel free to move how you need to move. All right, and then pause back in the center. Depending where you are on your mat, you might need to walk your hands forward or shuffle your knees back a little bit. But then on your inhale, shift your weight forward into your hands for plank. You might be on your knees. You might tuck the toes and lift the knees away from the earth. I want you to squeeze your bum, squeeze the tops of the thighs, press your lower ribs up to the sky, and press the floor away from you a little bit more with your hands. And then on your exhale, come all the way down to the earth. A little wiggle of your hips from side to side once you get there. If you're able to bring your forehead to the earth, that's a really great place to be rather than lifting the chin. All right, untuck your toes. Press the tops of your feet into the earth so much so you feel your kneecaps lift away. Send your tailbone to the back wall. Feel your belly button engage toward your spine. Wrap your shoulder blades onto your back. And on your inhale, lift your heart forward and up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. So a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. You might play with letting the hands hover, or you might take them out onto the wood, I usually say, or off your mat anyway. You might press up a little bit higher, but I really want you to think of squeezing the bum. All right, on your exhale, come all the way down, one cheek to the earth. Deep belly breaths to release through the lower back. And then come back to center. All right, from here, reach your right arm forward. Of course, my blocks are sort of blocking the view. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, the right arm reaching forward. You could be palm flat, or you could come up onto the fingertips. And then I want you to really root the right leg down as well. So top of the foot pressing into the earth. Squeeze the bum on that right side. And then kick your left heel toward your bum. This might be where you stay, or maybe you can reach with the left hand and grab the left foot, either the outside or the inside. Grabbing the inside of the foot means that it's very hard for that left shoulder to dip forward. If you're prone to that, wrap both shoulders onto your back. And then maybe you start to bend your elbow a little bit more on that left side, drawing that left heel in toward your bum. Maybe think of pressing your hips into the floor a little bit more. That left knee might lift up a little bit. So here we are in dancer's pose, except we're totally prone rather than standing. This might be a beautiful place to stay, particularly if you're getting a lot of release through the quadriceps here. Or maybe you start to kick that left foot away from you and then lift up into your half bow. Really squeeze the bum on both sides so you don't crank through the lower back. This can be a beautiful opening for the chest and shoulders on that left side. Well, chest and shoulder on the left side. All right, slowly. Exhale. Release down. Bend your knees. Take a little reverse windshield wiper of the legs. And then let's switch sides. So left arm reaches forward, either palm to the floor, up on fingertips. Press the top of the foot on that left leg into the floor. Squeeze the bum so that left side stays really active the entire time. From here, maybe you kick your right heel to your bum. That's a great place to stay. Maybe you reach around for the grab of the foot with that right hand. Now wrap your shoulder onto your back. And then keeping that left side active, start to maybe pull that right heel in toward your bum a little bit more. My foot is cramping, so I'm not demoing it. There we go. And then press the tops of your hips into the floor a little bit more. Squeeze your bum. That right knee might lift away slightly. Again, if you're getting a lot of sensation through the quadriceps, the tops of the thigh on that right side, then stay here. Otherwise, maybe you start to kick the right foot away from you, pull back on the foot with a hand to come into half bow. Squeeze the bum on both sides. Back the neck stays long. I don't want you to lift at the chin. Couple more deep breaths. All right. Exhale, release all the way down. Opposite cheek to the earth. Little wiggle or shake. And then plant your hands underneath you. Tuck your toes. Press your hips up, either to hands and knees, where you can stay here moving and grooving through cat and cow, or maybe hands nice and wide, tuck your toes, lift your hips up into downward facing dog. Wherever you need to be for a few breaths. If you're in downward facing dog, I'd recommend pedaling the heels toward the floor and bending one knee and then the other. All right. If you're in downward facing dog, gently release your knees to the earth. I'm going to swell. I might swing around to face you, but we're going to do a little bit of single knee balancing work. So if you'd like some extra padding, go ahead and bring it underneath your left knee. And then on your inhale, step or sweep the right leg forward. So we're coming up to half kneeling. Back out of the hips, hug the legs toward each other, squeeze the bum on the back leg, belly button to spine, shoulder blades on your back, maintaining all that, then shift into your front knee. So I want a really active release now through the hip flexors and also possibly the quadriceps. The more you squeeze the bum on that back leg, the more you're going to open into the front of that hip. Now you could rest your hands on that front thigh. Maybe you press the palms forward to send the shoulders back or the torso back, getting even more release here. Last couple breaths here. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, flip the palms skyward, grab hold of the left wrist, lift tall, and exhale over to the right. So even more opening now through the front of the body on that side. All right, inhale back to center, release your hands to the earth, and then swing your right knee back underneath you, hands and knees. A little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then we'll switch sides. So if you're using padding, bring it underneath that right knee now. And then on your inhale, step or sweep the left leg forward. The cool thing about using padding is not only is it more comfortable on your knee, but it also raises your knee, effectively lengthening your femur, right? And the thing we know about longer bones or longer levers is that you can get a deeper stretch. So it's not just about comfort, right? It's actually about getting a deeper stretch as well. All right, so anyway, back out of the hips, hug your legs toward each other, squeeze the bum, belly button to spine. Nice tall posture, then shift into your front knee. Really squeeze the bum on that back leg. Maybe your back toes are tucked, maybe they are untucked. And you could rest your palms on that front thigh, again, without generating tension through the neck and shoulders. You might even press the palms forward to send your torso back. But keep squeezing the bum on the back leg. Option to stay here, or maybe inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, flip the palms skyward, grab hold of the right wrist this time. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, over to the left. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, release your hands to the earth. Swing your legs underneath you. Little wiggle for cat and cow. And then step to the top edge of your mat into your standing forward fold. You could rest your elbows on your knees or thighs. You could clasp opposite elbows with hands. You could sway a little bit from side to side, wherever you need to go. Maybe you have blocks that you can bring underneath your hands just to give yourself a little bit more support today. And make sure your knees are micro bent or even deeply bent. Last couple breaths, wherever you need to be. And then release your hands with fingertips to your shins or blocks, where the earth inhale, little partway lift, belly bend to spine. Exhale, let it all go. 2 more. And then bend your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, slowly start to roll up to standing. 1 vertebra at a time, as slow as you need to go, till eventually you come all the way up to standing. Maybe a couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down, a little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. All right, bring your hands to your hips, bend the knees a little bit. Let's take some hip circles, one direction, and then the other. And just a little twist, right, just to release anything that might have got stuck. And then shake out to your legs. All right, send your weight to your right foot, a little buoyancy on that supporting knee. You might come to the toes on that left foot for a bit more support, or maybe you pick up the left leg. Take a few easy pulses here. I say easy, just they might be really hard, but I don't want you to have to work, right? It's not like we're doing pistols or squats. You're just bouncing. Maybe you kick your heel to bum, lean forward, keep the pulses going. Woo. And then bring that left knee forward again. Inhale here. As you exhale, start to reach the left leg back, bend into that front knee. Reach the left arm forward. I'm going to turn to the side so I don't kick over my books. And then inhale, lift back up. Exhale, reach. So hopefully now you're feeling your right leg, the supporting leg, fire up a little bit into the glutes, into the calf muscles, the quadriceps. Last time. And then step your left foot down. Shake out that right leg. Maybe you need to release through the glutes a little bit. And then switch the opposite side. So weight on that left leg, little buoyancy on the knee. Again, you might come to the toes on that right leg and get some pulses going. Right? If the toes are on the floor, you're doing like 99% of the work as you would be with the knee lifted, right? You're just giving yourself a little bit more support. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you kick your heel to the bum, lean forward, keep the pulses going, right? Toes could be on the floor here too. And then bring that right knee forward, slow it down. Inhale here, exhale, reach the right leg back. Right, you can drag your foot on the floor the whole time for more stability, or maybe reach the leg a bit further away and float it up off the earth. Last one here. Whoa, and then come back to center, step it down, shake out your legs. All right, are you ready? Dancer's pose. Hopefully you are, because we don't have any more time to prep for it. So if your balance is wobbly today, go find a wall that you can put a hand to, and it's going to make it so much more pleasant that you don't have to fight for the balance, but you can still get the benefits of the pose. If you want to try it in the middle of the room, try it in the middle of the room. Okay, weight to the right foot, a little buoyancy on that knee, and then kick your left heel to your bum. Now, sometimes that doesn't work for our bodies. I get it. The grab, the cramping of the hamstring, so you can bring the knee forward enough that you can bring the foot and then drop behind you. That's a little trick that I learned from one of my students. Hug your legs toward each other, squeeze the bum so the hips press forward, and then draw the heel in toward your bum a little bit more. You could have the outside edge of the foot. You could have the inside edge of the foot. Inside edge of the foot is more like standing bow pose. Doesn't particularly matter. You could counterbalance with that right arm, right? And draw the heel in a little bit more. Now, option to stay here, or if you want to, keep the hips square this first round, bend that supporting knee, and then tilt forward. And keep the heel squeezing into the bum. Maybe. Last breath here. All right, inhale, slowly unwind, come back to center, shake it out and release. All right, so we're easing into it. You're getting a few tries at it so that the stability is there for when you really want to go for it. Okay, weight to the left foot. Again, little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Shoulder blades on your back. Kick your heel to your bum, or try that little sneaky thing, right? And then hug your legs toward each other. Tailbone down. Think of sending that right kneecap down. And then press the hips forward slightly. So you might be feeling quite a bit on that, on the top of the thigh, the quadriceps on that right side. You can counterbalance with the left hand. Right, really press the hips forward. If you're getting a lot of sensation, stay here. Maybe you start to tilt forward a little bit. Keep the hips square. Keep hugging the heel into the bum. So you're practicing a little bit with the sort of teeter-totter action in dancer's pose, but you're still getting the release through the quadriceps. Last breath here. All right, slowly unwind, shake it out. All right, let's go back to that right side. So lots of options along the way. I'm going to turn to the side. Again, I don't want to accidentally kick my books over. So maybe you stay with kicking that left heel into the bum. Maybe you just stay nice standing, getting that beautiful release for the quads. Again, little buoyancy on that knee. Maybe you take that second option that we did with the hip staying square and lifting the knee back. Or maybe you start to kick that left foot back behind you, really squeeze the bum, opening through the chest and the torso. You might lean forward a little bit more. You might come up. You might play with bending the supporting knee, taking a few pulses here. Woo. Last couple breaths. All right, slowly unwind, shake it out a little bit. It's so important that you squeeze your bum, particularly if you're going into the deeper back bend, so that you don't crank into your lower back. Okay? Last time on the left. Again, I'm going to turn sideways. Little buoyancy on that knee. Maybe you grab the right foot and take the quad stretch. You can counterbalance with that left hand. Maybe you've got your hand on the wall. Little buoyancy on the knee. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you keep the hips square and tilt forward. Or even just practice those teeter-totters. Maybe you feel like kicking that right foot back behind you even more, and then pull back on the foot with the hand so the hips open up. You're going to need to take a couple pulses of that supporting leg. A couple more breaths. Single point of focus for the eyes can really help the balance here. All right, slowly, or less than slowly unwind. Shake it out a little bit. Twist, hip circles. I lost my language there for a moment. It felt so good. All right, inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, release into your forward fold. For 3 breaths. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, release. 2 more. And bend your knees. Come down to hands and knees to start with. A little wiggle or shake. And then we'll move into child's pose. So with the legs together, you're going to get more of a release through the lumbar spine, but you'll get more compression through your belly. So if that's not feeling great, then take your knees wide with the toes together. You'll still get a release through the lower back, but you'll also get a deeper release through the hips. Wherever you need to go, you can prop underneath you to take some of the gravity out. Because sometimes, no matter how hard we try and to protect the lower back, it can sometimes get a little bit cranky after dancer's pose. And then slowly press yourself up enough that you can swing your hips on one side and then roll down onto your back. And then draw your knees toward you. Take a little rock from side to side. All right, you might stay here, one hand to each leg, or maybe you clasp or interlace your hands over top of your shins. This is going to deepen the compression on the hips, but also you might start to feel a deeper release through the low back. Next option, if you wish, is to gently curl your nose toward your knees without gripping into the neck and shoulders. Last option is to press the shins up to the sky, getting deeper flexion through the spine and a nice active release through the low back. All right, and then come back down to the earth. Let's move into a twist. So take your right arm out to the side. Maybe you shift your hips right to start with, and then exhale, lower your knees to the left. You could have your knees stacked. You might take a single knee twist, or you could cross your legs. You could bring a block or a pillow underneath your knees or between them to give yourself more ease and more support. Maybe you look along your right arm to finish off the spiral in the neck as well. Last couple breaths here. On your inhale, gently unwind and return to center. Reset your pelvis or your spine. Maybe you shift your hips left a little bit to start with. Left arm out to the side, and then exhale, lower your knees to the right. Again, as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need, and it doesn't have to be the same variation that you did on the first side. Prop as necessary underneath the knees or between the legs, or not even as necessary, but as you wish. You might look along your left arm, again to finish off the spiral in the spine. If your feet are hovering off the floor, can you release them down so that you can be here with relative ease? Couple more breaths. One more inhale. One sweet exhale. All right, and then inhale, return to center. Reset your pelvis. and your spine, and then draw your knees toward you. Take them wide out toward your shoulders or armpits. You could stay here for your happy baby, or you might kick your feet up to the sky. You could grab the backs of your thighs, or somewhere along your legs, your ankles, or your feet. You could rock a little bit from side to side, whatever you need. This is a really great way to help neutralize the spine, reset the pelvis, reset the lumbar spine after all the single leg balancing. And if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, please feel free to take it, a posture or maybe a meditation. Otherwise, if you're ready for your rest, start to think about where you would like to go. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. If you have pillows or blocks, it can feel super nice to bring them behind the backs of your knees or your thighs, and it just releases tension in the low back. I call it yoga lazy boy. Right? Particularly after a lot of dancers pose, it can feel super nice. You could choose to rest on your side or in child's pose or even a seated meditation. At any rate, there's no rush to get to your pose of rest. But once you're there, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose and exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then continue breathing however feels best. And try to let go of your breath control, though. Return to your natural breath. Let go of any last muscle gripping or tension, particularly in your neck or your jaw. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming here today, for giving yourself this time to move and to breathe, and for your wonderful body for moving and breathing for you, for playing. Stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.